Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle a real titan of the cloud, Amazon Elastic MapReduce. But, you'll pretty much always just hear it called EMR. If you've ever heard the term big data and wondered how anyone actually deals with it, stick around, because EMR is how you master the beast.
So let's start with the problem. Why do we even need something like EMR? Well, just imagine your organization is generating data at an insane rate. We're not talking gigabytes or terabytes, we're talking petabytes. That is thousands of terabytes. It's a mind-boggling amount of information. You're not just swimming in it, you are literally drowning, and you need a lifeline, fast.
And that lifeline? It's Amazon EMR. So what is it? Think of it as your heavy-duty, industrial-strength data processing engine that lives in the cloud. And here's the key. It's fully managed. It's built from the ground up to handle that petabyte scale problem, letting you run these huge parallel processing jobs and analyze massive data sets without pulling your hair out.
Okay, so we know EMR can handle massive scale, but what kind of data are we actually talking about here? Because, let's be honest, in the real world, data is messy. It's never just one clean, neat type. The true power of a platform like this is its ability to take all of it, from perfect financial records to the most chaotic server logs, and turn that raw material into some kind of refined insight.
And this is really where you see that versatility in action. You've got your structured data, right? Super organized, like financial transactions. Then you have semi-structured stuff, like text files. And then there's the really wild stuff, the unstructured application logs and clickstream data. The big takeaway here is that EMR is built to handle all three of these types without even breaking a sweat.
So where's all this data coming from? Well, as you'd probably guess, EMR plugs right into the whole AWS ecosystem. It can pull data from your giant data lake in S3, from your DynamoDB database, your Redshift data warehouse, and here's a really cool part, it can even process data in real time as it's streaming in from Kinesis.
But here's the thing, EMR doesn't do all this heavy lifting with some kind of secret proprietary magic sauce from Amazon. And this is the brilliant part, it's how it works under the hood. It's built on a foundation of the most popular, powerful open source tools that your developers probably already know and love.
And this is a huge deal, you guys. EMR gives you native support for all the industry standards. We're talking Apache Spark for that super fast in-memory processing, Hive for data warehousing queries, Presto for your interactive analytics, and of course the OG of big data, the original workhorse, Hadoop.
So the crucial point here, the bottom line, is that you don't have to start from scratch. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. If your team has skills in Spark or Hadoop, you can bring those exact same applications and that same know-how directly to EMR. This just massively lowers the barrier to entry for doing big data processing in the cloud.
So you get to use the tools you already know, which is awesome. But the real magic of EMR, where it truly shines, is its efficiency. See, it's not just about having all this raw power. It's about applying that power intelligently and, really importantly, cost-effectively. And that right there is what changes the game for these massive data jobs.
This comparison just hits the nail on the head. In the old on-prem world, you had to do everything. You had to buy the servers, rack them, manage them, and then try to guess how much capacity you'd need. It was a nightmare. With EMR, AWS just handles all of that heavy lifting. You define your job, and the cluster scales up or down automatically. All of that operational headache, it just disappears. And the result of all that smart scaling and fine-tuned performance, well, it's pretty significant cost savings. AWS claims that EMR can run these big data jobs for less than half the cost of trying to do it yourself on premises. You're only paying for exactly what you use, right when you use it. Okay, so that's the theory. But let's talk about what this means in practice. What can you actually do with all this power? Let's take a look at how EMR is being used to turn these mountains of raw data into some pretty incredible real-world discoveries. I mean, just think about these use cases for a second. In science, you can process enormous genomic datasets to find hidden patterns that could lead to new medical breakthroughs. That's huge. In business, you can finally make sense of your clickstream data to truly understand what your customers want. And in tech, you can sift through application logs to find and fix those tricky performance bottlenecks. All right, let's switch gears for a second. For all of you out there studying for an AWS certification, this part is for you. We're going to boil everything we've just talked about down to the absolute must-know facts that you need locked and loaded for your exam.
Okay, let's lock these in. First thing, EMR is a fully managed big data solution. That means less work for you. Second, it supports all the open source tools you know, like Spark and Hadoop. Third, its entire reason for existing is petabyte-scale parallel processing. Fourth, it doesn't care about your data's format. Structured, unstructured, it'll handle it all. And finally, remember those key use cases, genomics, clickstreams, and log analysis?
And look, if you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please make it this. When you're in that exam and you see a question that mentions big data and then throws in a keyword like Spark or Hadoop, your brain should immediately just scream EMR. That's the answer they're looking for. It's your golden ticket.